gonna move right down, but I want you to make sure you get a chance that everybody's on the still. Where's Reverend Horner? Doug. Oh, okay, Brother Doug Horner. I don't know if I should say UCC.
I'll introduce myself.
Okay, good. I don't want to, make sure disclaimer.
The peace of God be with you always.
All right.
I'm here representing myself first, also my congregation of St. Paul's United Church of Christ on the west side, also Salah Nolan, who is the Minister of Justice and Witness at the United Church of Christ, the national office. I'm here because of witnessing, as most of you have, injustices that have happened firsthand. God put these words on my heart this morning, and at 5 o'clock in the morning I wrote them down to bring them to you. Excuse me for reading them mostly, but these are coming straight from my heart. We have leaders and people who are being overwhelmed by life circumstances right now. We have good, faithful people in and among us who are also confused, lonely, and depressed by the powers that be that are telling us to be depressed, to be under the thumb of economic depression, to be under the thumb of what's happening in our country. Oh, this is so bad. Why is it so bad? Because we're losing the middle class. There is a war against the poor, and people who forget what it was like to be poor are getting sucked back down into it. And our young people are drifting because our adults are scared and so busy surviving that there's nobody telling our young people how to behave. I heard it spoken earlier this morning about how our young people aren't learning how to respect their elders, any elders. It's true. It's true everywhere. Adults are having difficulty finding jobs, and it's worse for youth. People are losing faith. Many youth have no hope. I am here. We are here to stand with you to say that we need to stop the violence. We need to stop the arguments amongst ourselves. We need to stop the fighting and the blame game. We need to stop relying on politicians and so-called civic leaders and take these matters into our own hands. We need to stop calling each other names and start focusing on the ways that we can come together for the common good of all people. We cannot wait for the government, the mayor, the law enforcement, or elected officials to help us. They cannot. This is something we have to do for ourselves. We have to grow our own leaders. We have to guide our young people with leadership potential. We have to teach our children how to change the things they don't like about the world, because it is up to them, and it is up to us to grow them. I am with you. Think about how you want to make a difference and join the forces for good. I heard in the news the other day that the rich Democrats and the rich Republicans are afraid of class warfare. Well, we are experiencing class warfare every day right here. We know the real story of the real needs for real people just to eat and survive, and we know the truth. There is already a war on the poor and the middle class. The rich are getting their bailouts. The rich are making profits. The rich are buying their yachts and their houses and their plasma TVs and not paying their fair share of the taxes that are going to keep them rich. The poor are losing. The rich of both parties are trying to balance their budgets by taking funding away from social programs for the neediest citizens, taking money from law enforcement and community programs that are holding the lid on what they perceive as class warfare. Well, the rich are keeping the wars going in Iraq and in Afghanistan. The rich are keeping those drones flying overhead, making all of us feel a little less safe. The rich are only worried about keeping their money safe after all. They're not worried about keeping us safe. And then creating a fight for the little money that's left over after they've stolen the rest. So what do? We know that whenever people start to lose focus on meaningful work and positive activities, they start taking up destructive behavior and negative activities. So we have to get our focus back. Positive people, good people, strong and courageous people have to get together to stand against a wave of violence, negativity, and destructive behaviors. We have to take our communities back from thug mentality. We have to take back our communities from greedy mentality. We have to take back our communities from the fear of strangers or the fear of immigrants or the fear of people whose skin color is different. We cannot be scared by people who are not the same color. I am the change I want to see in the world. I have to stand against fear, stand against violence, stand against negativity, stand against destructive behavior and crime. And I hope you will stand with me. This is our time because we cannot wait for the government or the mayor or law enforcement or elected officials. They cannot do anything. This is something we have to do for ourselves. We have to grow our own leaders. We have to guide our young people. I want to tell you something that has to stop. We have to stop the violence at our government level.
That's right.
We have to stop giving so much credit to a government that kills people. We have to end capital punishment. We have to tell our politicians that we want an end to death row and death penalty. It is not working. It is too expensive. It is not justice. Capital punishment is a racist system, like we were saying before, about it's just an extension of the slave years. It is set up to kill people, mostly people of color, and scare people of color, and intimidate people of color, and it is not justice. It is not just, and it is not working. And do you know how many other countries in this world kill people, whose governments kill people? Iran, Saudi Arabia, North Korea, China, and the United States. Is that something to be proud of? That we're part of this terrorist organization around the United States that still kills its own people? It creates more violence and hatred. That creates more violence and hatred. It's a cycle that goes out of control. We see this action. We know this. We have to find ways for our politicians to understand that we know this. And why is it that they're not listening to us? Because we're not really organized. We're not really organized in this city. We're too busy arguing with each other. We're too busy surviving. We're too busy trying to put food on the plates for our kids at home, keeping a roof over our head. They divided us, but they haven't conquered us. It is time to end capital punishment by calling our state representatives, state senators, U.S. reps, U.S. senators, President Obama, Governor Kasich, telling them that we want laws changed. We want them to stop killing people. We want them to reinvest that money that they have been using to kill people and put it into education programs and rehabilitation programs, because we know how to prevent killing, because we've been living in this for so long. We know that we have to stop setting up that killing machine to do its job. We have to stop the desperation. We have to stop the war on the poor. We have to stop creating enemies out of our own people. You want to see an end to crime? Start giving people hope. You want to see an end to violence? Bring the troops home from Afghanistan and Iraq and quit funding capital punishment. You want to see an end to loitering and vagrancy? Start giving people work. You want to see safer neighborhoods? Bring neighbors together, like these kind of breakfasts, like garden clubs or block clubs or picnics or festival. You want to see hunger end? Take a plate of food down to that old Vietnam vet down at the end of your street. Or start feeding an elderly person who you know only gets one meal a day. It starts right here in our neighborhoods. It starts with the person right next door to us. We cannot sit back anymore and wait for some other club or some other group or the government for help. This is something we have to do ourselves. We have to be the change we want to see in the world. We have to grow our own leaders. We have to guide our young people with leadership potential. We have to teach our children how to change the things they don't like about our world. It's up to us. It's up to you. It's up to me. Think about how you want to make a difference and join the force for good. May the peace of God be with you always.
All right, we're doing gender mixing. I know we got some other sisters here. Any other death penalty in specific, because I want to make sure we deal with them first. All right, come on over, our sister. And I know Don and some other, we're going to have to keep it to about 2 minutes, though, because we got to read his statement. If you don't mind, we want each of us to take a line out of his work. You want us to hold this?
Yeah, would you?
Yeah.
I'm Kathy Soltis. I chair the Cleveland Coalition Against the Death Penalty, and I'm grateful to be here with you today. That was the sign that Sister Colette and I held at our our Thursday demonstration on Public Square a week ago. When there's an execution pending in Ohio, we go out, try to go out every Thursday at noon somewhere downtown. And that week we dedicated to Troy Davis, forgive me. When people came up to us, they would say, "Did they kill him?" I said, "Yes." And we also said, "We have a petition protesting it." Some people didn't understand that it was a protest petition. They said, "He's dead. Why a petition?" The answer is, you can never stop saying, "This is wrong." That's right. So I've already sent some signed petitions to Georgia. I have 2 copies of this, and I'd like it to go around while we're here. And if you would sign it, if you choose. You want to start in different directions? I will see that they get Xeroxed and sent to the 8 officials that we tried to appeal to. While we're at it, this is the next Ohio execution, Reginald Brooks. I'm going to pass this around also, if you will. Doug said he would pick them all up for me if we can't stay long enough. If you want to be on my email list, I'm not here to recruit. I'm just telling you this is what we do. These are concrete ways of working against these issues. What happened to Troy Davis was wrong for so many reasons, which you have discussed already, so I won't talk about that specifically, but we're with you in all of this. I'd like to see many more of you, members of the Cleveland Coalition Against the Death Penalty, because we specifically focus on the death penalty. We can get you petitions against each execution as they occur, because I send them out online. And we have been doing this since 1981, and we've been on the street since March of 2001, anytime an execution was pending. Let me just show you quickly the current situation. We still have 11 executions pending in Ohio. 1 man got clemency this week, thank God. This is what Ohio looks like right now. $11 coming up. So we will be working against each of these. They're scheduled into the middle of 2013. I will leave you with one more thought. Sister Colette and Tina Bush and I have been to Lucasville many times, although fewer times recently for a variety of reasons. Lucasville is the only place I know of where the hearse arrives before anybody dies. And I think that's something we all need to ponder. It's deliberate killing. It says homicide on the death certificate of an inmate killed at Lucasville or anywhere else, because it is a caused death, not a natural death. And we need to stop this homicide here and all over the country, and we hope more of you will join us. Forgive me for sounding like a recruiter, but basically in the short time I had, besides being in solidarity with you, I wanted to let you know what I do, and I'm grateful for the time you've given me. So please sign everything, and if I have to leave early, Doug will pick them all up and get them back to me. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.